Okay, here we are, folks, the final installment, jazz number 5. So let's get started here. Here's a favorite artist of mine. I need a lot more stuff by him. Everything I've heard by him, I absolutely love it. Jean-Luc Ponty, love his electric violin. Boy, wow. Civilized Evil, this is a really good one. Okay, he's joined here by Joaquin Livano on guitar, Chris Ryan on keyboards, Randy Jackson on bass, Mark Craney on drums, and this one here is from 1980. 1980. Let's see. It's on Atlantic. And here's one I heard on a radio station, just absolutely loved it. Looks like 83, Individual Choice. Yeah, this is great all the way through. Highly recommend this one if you're getting into Jean-Luc Ponty for the first time. Yeah, this one really is a great listen all the way through. Start with this one. Great stuff there. And here we have Jean-Pierre Rampal, flute, and Claude Bowling, pianist. Marcel Sabiani on drums, and Max Hediger on string bass. This is a slightly different listen. Something different for the ears, a little bit out of the ordinary. Has a very interesting cover there. Musical instruments kind of chilling there in the bedroom. That flute's having a smoke, blowing smoke rings. See, this is from 75. Yeah. And here from 1954, Pete Rugolo and his orchestra. Adventures in Rhythm. I like this one. Columbia. And another one, I pulled this out of my, I keep a Thierry Ripdahl in my space music. I think most of his music just fits over in the progressive and the space rather than the modern jazz. He's more of a contemporary artist. A little bit later on, after about 1970, the jazz music started to change. So I consider, anything beyond, about 71, 72, 73, I put that in the contemporary jazz. But here's Turgy Ripdahl, not Turgy, that's what it looks like. Tear, like a tear. Thierry Ripdahl is the correct pronunciation, so I was told. This is his Odyssey from 75, and this is just a killer album all the way through. Double LP, beautiful gatefold here, great listen, great guitar. Very spacey, psych, dreamy. Yeah, just awesome. Awesome. Highly recommend his stuff. He's from Norway. Here's another beautiful one. This is the first one I found by him from 76 called After the Rain. I heard the songs Air, After the Rain, Jer Marin, and Little Bell on the Music from the Hearts of Space back in about 83, 84, somewhere in there. Really liked those songs, went out and got this, loved it so much I started looking for his other stuff. Yeah, on the wonderful ECM label. Yeah, some of these ECMs, if you hold them up to the light, they're of such pure virgin vinyl. Although they're dark, they're transparent. You can see right through them. And some of these were that transparent kind, but I forgot which ones. Here's another beautiful one. I think I've showed this in a earlier video. This is Descender from '80. And I love that cover art. Just beautiful shades there. Just beautiful. Highly recommend all three of those. After the Rain is more of a rainy day, cloudy skies, cool type of feel to it. A lot gentler, mellow sounds. This one and the first one I showed, Odyssey, I recommend those perhaps even higher, and they're a lot more energetic and psyche and spacey. A lot of fusion on there. Great fusion. David Sanborn, Backstreet. Love that cover. I'm not too familiar with this guy's records and sound, but I liked it. I just haven't heard it as much, and I think this is the only one I have by him. Let's see. Here's the musicians on here. David Sanborn, alto, sax, soprano, Marcus Miller, Fender, fretless, Moog bass, Fender Rhodes, acoustic piano, Yamaha, Prophet, Jupiter, solo and rhythm electric and acoustic guitars, steel drums, timpani, chair, percussion, vocoder, Michael Collins on more synthesizer, Hiram Bullock, Moog bass, Fender Rhodes, solo and rhythm electric guitars, Steve Gadd on drums, Ralph McDonald, congas and percussion. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on there. Not too familiar with this group, so I can't say much about them. Skyline. Not a bad album, but not anything that is must-have material. Listened to this about 3 times. Great cover art there. From, not sure what this is from. Maybe 78 to 83, that time period. Here's a really beautiful album. Kind of a blind grab. I got this, I think, for about 25 cents when I was cleaning a loft at a local record store. And the guy for cleaning up, straightening up everything, I mean, it was in total chaos, disarray. He just gave me a big box of stuff for, you know, real dirt cheap as a thank you. And this was, these 2 Johnny Smiths were in the batch. This is called Moods. Very nice. Very nice. I recommend if you see this, you know, pick it up. I'm thinking this is from about 1956 or 50. This is from 56, and I think the next one there is from about 57, if I'm thinking correctly. Yeah. It's on Roost Records, Royal Roost. Doesn't have any year. Here's the Royal Roost label. And then from 1950, okay, that must have been from 55 or 56. This is from 56 here, the second one. Came shortly after the first one there. Johnny Ray, John Lee, George Romanis joins Johnny Smith here in his quartet. And we have Lonnie Liston Smith and the Cosmic Echoes, Reflections of a Golden Dream. And this is from, looks like 1976. Very beautiful cover on that one. A nice gatefold here. And his expansions. Lonnie Liston Smith and the Cosmic Echoes. Expansions. Another great cover. I like these. I'd recommend these. There's really not that much jazz that I don't like. I like just about anything I hear. Some jazz is maybe dips as low as maybe a 5 or a 6, but that's about as low as it goes for that particular genre. Most of these albums are in the 7 to 9 range. Another nice gatefold here. That one's from 75. It's on the Flying Dutchman label. I guess both of these are on the Flying Dutchman label. Forgot to show that one there. And the next one here I'm going to show, this one you are totally, all of you are totally familiar with this band, Spyro Gyra. This is Carnival. Just a gorgeous cover, very tropical. Beautiful, beautiful cover. I like all Spyro Gyra's music. Here's the band. MCA. See, what year is this? 1980. And here's a good one, Spyro Gyra, self-titled, I believe. Now I think the reissue of this one I found first. And these are on two different labels here. One was a reissue label and one was the original. I think this is the reissue label. Yeah. Amherst was the other one. I have another copy of this and it's on the Amherst label. Here's Morning Dance. I remember this one having some radio airplay. This album, there was a few songs off here that got some airplay on the jazz stations. Another very, very tropical, lush cover there. Just beautiful. This is on Infinity. And then Steps Ahead, Magnetic. The World Trade Centers. He's walking a tightrope there upside down from one tower to the next. I remember one tower was 1,362 feet and the other tower was 1,368 feet. There was a 6-foot difference between those two towers. That's from 1986. And And here was a recent find. I just showed this. This is Ralph Towner's Solstice, Jan Garbarek, Eberhard Weber, and John Christensen. There's that very small drum kit Gary was talking about, wondering how he got such good sound out of that small drum kit. Yeah, Gary's a musician. He would know better than I. Yeah, Ralph Towner. Yeah, it's 12-string guitar, classical guitar, piano. Jan Garbarek's on tenor and soprano saxophone and flute. Eberhard Weber on bass and cello, and John Christensen on drums and percussion. Recorded December 1974 at Arne Bendiksen Studio, Oslo, Norway. 1975. Steve Tibbetts, yeah, he's a good artist. I need more of his stuff. Everything I've heard from him, everything I've heard of his, I really like. And this is a standout. This is a good one. Highly recommend you grab this one up if you see it. Safe Journey from '84, I think. I heard this on Music from the Hearts of Space. His music has a very, I don't know, the tracks I put on my Primitive Ethereal? I think so. I made a CD mix, and it had a lot of songs on there that sounded like you were in a heat wave, or just on a journey. Could have been music to a soundtrack, and it was music off this album here. But yeah, a lot of stuff on here reminds me of that ambient stuff that John Hassel, the trumpeter, did on his modified trumpet. Incredible. Check out John Hassel. And it also sounded like Brian Eno and Harold Budd's collaborations with their ambient 1 through 4 series. Yeah, goes beautifully with that. Fits right in there. Even Eberhard Scherner's Bali Agawang. Here's Art Tatum. Art Tatum Discoveries from 1960. Another great cover there. Seems like I was reading somewhere where this was recorded in the 50s. I'm not sure though. It's on 20th Century Fox Records. A label you don't see that often. At least not in my collection. And then we got Stanley Turrentine, Pieces of Dreams on Fantasy Records. Arranged and conducted by Gene Page. Really cool cover. This is, 1974. See, who do we have here? Stanley Turrentine on tenor sax, Sonny Burke, John Miller and Gene Page on keyboards, Ray Parker Jr., Dean Parks and David T. Walker on guitars, Ron Brown on bass, Ed Green drums, Ed Moore drums, Gary Coleman on percussion, Joe Clayton on congas, and Myrna Matthews, Carolyn Willis, and Edna Wright on background vocals. So that's what you hear on that one. And then another Stanley Turrentine, West Side Highway, I think is the title of this one. Yep, West Side Highway. I really love the image on the scene on there. That is really neat. Looks like an abandoned city. I love skylines on covers. And Gino Vanelli from 1975. This is a beautiful album by him, Storm at Sunup. There was a composer that did the background music to the 1975 through 77 Space 1999 television show by Gary and Sylvia Anderson over in the UK. And for one of the shows, Derek Wadsworth, the composer, he did a lot more heavy synth work, and he did a cover of Storm at Sunup, I believe it is. Yes, Storm at Sunup on this particular album. And it was also very, very good. As soon as I heard it, I was thinking, where have I heard that before? And then I did some research and found out that Gino Vanelli was the guy that did it first in 75. And I think Derek Wadsworth did his cover in 76, just 1 year later. But check out both versions of Storm at Sunup, Derek Wadsworth, Space 1999, and then this one, and see which one you like best. I like both of them. Just depends on the mood I'm in, but both are great. Yeah. On Herb Alpert, great label, A&M there. And then another big one. This had some radio hits for him back in the day. Let's see, 1978, Brother to Brother. Forgot which songs there, it's been so long, but there's about one or two songs on here that got some heavy radio play back then. And I Sing the Body Electric, the one I just found here recently on my vinyl finds I showed. Won't spend too much time on that one. Here's a Sweet Nighter. Yeah, I like all Weather Report stuff. We have Joseph Zuanol on, let's see what here. Keyboards, Wayne Shorter, soprano saxophone, Miroslav Vitas on bass, Ed Gravatt on drums, and Dom Romeo on percussion, Maruga percussion, Herschel Dwellingham on drums, Andrew N. White III on English horn and Fender bass. That's from 1973. And then another good one here, Mysterious Traveler. That's from 74. And then a standout favorite of mine from 77 that I heard on that their radio show, that PBS Jazz lunchtime radio show where they would play the whole album from beginning to end. Yeah, I was sold on this instantly. And then Mr. Gone. Another very interesting cover there. Very colorful. Very nice back cover. ARC Records. White label promo. And Procession from 1983. Now this one here was a little weaker. This is, once they got into the early mid-80s, I, didn't care for their sound quite as much as the earlier stuff. And here's a classic. Gotta have this one. Gotta grab this one up if you see it. Worth it. Eberhard Weber, The Colors of Chloe. Very good album here. From recorded December 1973. And we're getting towards the end here. Here's K plus JJ, East Coast Jazz, number 7 on Bethlehem. Let that sun light that cover up. Yeah, the clouds moved away out there. It's been a little cloudy today, and it's really getting sunny out there now. It's 5:58 p.m. This is from 1955. Kai Winding, trombone. J.J. Johnson on trombone. Dick Katz, piano. Al Harwood on drums. Milt Hinton on bass. And William Marshall on, or Wendell Marshall on bass. And Modern Jazz, Hall of Fame, Volume 1. Wow, this one features Louis Bellson, Willie Dennis, Benny Green, Milt Hinton, Thad Jones, Lee Konitz, Hank Mobley, Phyllis Pinkerton, Bud Powell, Billy Taylor, Jackson Wiley, and others. It's on Design Records, Spectrasonic Sound, Stereo, SDLP 29. Copyright by Pickwick International, Incorporated, Long Island, New York. That's that one. And finally, and I have some more Ahmad Jamal, but it's over in my Ultra Lounge. It seemed to fit better over there for whatever I had. Here's the only one I have by him that's the newer, just the latter edge of the modern jazz. I think this is from '73. This is Outer Time, Inner Space. I like all the Mod Jamal stuff too, the stuff that I've heard. There, we got it nice and lit up. Beautiful cover there, very psyche. So there you have it. That's the jazz that I have. And that is all of it. Now there's some more over kind of scattered here and there. I've got a whole bunch of, not really a lot, but I have some over like Stan Getz and Walter Wanderley and Antonio Carlos Jobim and, you know, Sergio Mendes in Brazil 66. That's over in my Ultra Lounge. So I hope you enjoyed, everybody. Take care.